This is Ryan Malone. You're listening to Nasty Knuckles.
You're listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer Riley Tocchet, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What's happening, Nasty?
What's up, Regs? You started this men's league season off the same way you do every other one. No show.
Dude, I got my parents in town. Priorities. Hadn't seen them in 3 years.
It's been a while.
I know, dude. So it's been a fun week, but I had to make a choice. Spend some time with them. So hopefully I can make the next one.
I'm thinking
you guys squeezed out a nice big win, though.
Yeah, we did. We got down 3-rip and came back and ended up winning. It's a decent game. That was back and forth a little bit, and then we kind of pulled away. Not because of me, for sure. I had a tough game.
Yeah.
Didn't get much sleep over the weekend. Went up with the Rebels up to close to Boston there, and had a tough night on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Came back big time Friday night and won in overtime.
There you go.
It's a really good team up there, Northeast.
Nice bus ride home.
No, I didn't sleep. That was the
nice.
issue, and then I get home. By the time I'm settled, it's 5 a.m. and I've got to take Elvis to his game.
Oh, dude.
So
You
no
gotta
sleep.
get some sleep enhancements there.
Man,
Maybe a little
I
cure
didn't
leaf.
have any time to sleep. Yeah, I do. I should have had some cure leaf with me. I definitely needed it.
You definitely do.
But it's a good thing.
Step up your bus game.
It's a good thing I'm used to not getting much sleep.
Yeah.
So I was able to function.
Well, you look good.
But thank you. I feel awful. Yeah, good weekend. Elvis had a couple games and all that stuff, and I know you had a good week with your parents, and they're here for a couple more days.
Yep.
And we need to apologize to everyone. We had some difficulties with our guest from last week. He just ran into 2 days in a row. So we apologize. We're going to drop 2 this week, right?
Yep, that's the plan.
Nice.
Today with Ryan Malone, and then Friday with former captain of Flyers, Dave Poulin.
Yes.
Legendary dude, awesome dude. You know him well.
Yes.
So, yeah, looking forward to that. And what do we got in the hockey world, Nast?
Well, let's start with the Flyers.
Yes.
Sam Urson was sent down, and I'm for all accounts, I believe it's to protect Felix Sandstrom because Urson doesn't have to clear waivers.
That's it. Would make a ton of sense. Yep.
Yeah. So
he's playing well.
It's
funny how that works. You know, it's well, I've seen this happen quite often.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of managing the cap and managing a team. So
I thought they may just keep 3, but it really doesn't do him any good because
he's got to play games. He's got to play games. Yeah.
Hopefully, he goes down there and he plays the way he played here.
Yeah.
And gets Lappy and those guys going.
Yep.
And Gator there, but some news that have kind of like died down now. Thank goodness.
Which was probably hardly even really newsworthy.
Right.
But
Ivan
probably
Provorov,
should address it. Yep.
Yeah, just address that real quick. He opted to not go out in warmups last week with the jerseys that were being worn for warm up. Created an absolute shit show. In my opinion, that could have all been avoided, but nonetheless, it wasn't. You play devil's advocate. You do have your right to do what you want.
Yeah.
And the other sides are like, hey, just wear it for 15 minutes. And even if you're not a total believer or whatever, however you want to put it, I'm not really sure how. But, it just sucks that it goes down that way and all the, bad pub and goes along with it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anytime you have some stance that goes against other people's opinions, it's going to generate controversy. And, I respect him for holding his line, his belief, staying true to himself. You got to respect him for that, whether you agree with his choice or not. But it's obviously wasn't mandated by the league, right? It was encouraged.
Yeah.
Hockey is for everybody, as we know.
Definitely is.
But once you start bringing politics into sports, it gets a little bit hairy. So NHL supported them, Torts supported them, and you have to. Otherwise, you're forcing your players to take some version of a political stance. To me, it wasn't newsworthy. He chose not to. I think they could have done it a better way. Obviously. But maybe even just giving him a regular jersey to get out there. I'm really not sure what the play was there, but obviously, love is love, and I think we all believe that. But I think once you start making people or forcing people or expecting people to wear a jersey or a flag or whatever, it just kind of crosses that line. You can support something, respect something without celebrating it in some way, shape, or form. So he held his line. You got to I respect his stance. However, I do support and respect all people of all colors and races and genders and everything. Love is love, and it was never a matter of trying to create divide or hate. People say hate this and that. I don't think that was the case at all. It's not the vibe I got. But it's not from his quotes and his comments either.
Well,
he respected knowing him.
He is not. He doesn't hate.
Yeah,
that wasn't the case there. But it's a line that someone's not going to be happy, some are going to be happy.
Exactly.
It sucks that that has to happen, and I have friends in that community, and they're friends, and I love them.
Right, of course.
And if I support them, that's fine. And they were coming, asking me, well, what's his problem? I'm like, it's it's his choice, and it's not that he hates that. It's not that he hates that community. He just chose not to do it, and I just feel like it could have maybe been handled a little bit. It wasn't something that was a surprise.
Yeah, right.
That he probably wouldn't do that. In the end, I hope it just doesn't. I don't think it's going to cause any problems in there because I know they've talked about it.
Yeah,
the players. So it just is a shitty situation.
Yeah,
it had to come to that, and like I said, we love everybody.
Of course,
we're lovers.
Oh, we are lovers.
We're lovers, and I feel bad for the people that it maybe hurt.
Yeah.
But, like you said, you have to respect his choice of what he did, just like you should respect everyone else's choice of what they do. And
100%.
Get into this big divide.
Right, exactly. We need to come together. Respect everybody. Yeah, we don't want to beat a dead horse here.
Right.
We wanted to touch on it.
Yeah.
I think the news is past.
Yeah.
People are have moved on, but we haven't addressed it. Missing the pod last week, so just wanted to bring that up.
Yep.
What else we got here, Nast?
Well, Torts took the iPads.
Oh
away.
God!
And
thank the Lord.
Former coach.
Yes. Thank the Lord.
I feel like you should be able to use them in a certain situation. I do think it's gotten out of control. Like even when I was still there, guys would literally get off the ice and grab the iPad.
Totally.
And then you're missing the game.
You're not connecting to the present moment.
Maybe if it's a timeout and you grab it, nothing's being said to check something, but I think it's gotten a little out of control.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if they were there and used the right way, and when I say the right way, not taking away from the essence of the game. Part of sitting on the bench is observing and participating in the game, even if you're sitting on the bench. It's not checking out what you look like on your last play. I
wish I could do that.
Oh, I know you could.
I think I would like to.
I think you
see how I look.
How you looked on the bench.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
But like you said, maybe a TV timeout if you're going over a power play situation and you're trying to correct it, or another little type of situation, or wait till the end of the period.
Yeah.
But to be using it during play and again not observing what's going on, not paying attention to the game itself, to me it's lost the essence of participating in the game even while you're on the bench. But I was still coaching. These iPads came in. You were still obviously with the Flyers, and I knew when I first saw that this is going to be a distraction.
Right.
This is gonna take away from guys being present. You talk about trying to get guys to focus and be in the game. Like, how can you be when you're watching an iPad?
I wonder if Torch is the first coach to actually say stay off those things. Like,
I love it.
I've never heard about it, but I do get where he's coming from. I really do. So.
I do. Yeah. Again, if they were used the right way and respected, again, you get into going into a shootout, maybe looking at some tendencies of a goalie or certain situations.
Yeah. Well, usually they bring that out. Like, so when I was still there, Adam or Vinny, the video coaches for the Flyers, would come out with their goalie, the goals against, like how people scored on
right, exactly.
Right? And guys would like kind of huddle around, and sometimes they would look at it before.
Yeah.
Whereas before the game, the goalie, they had an iPad, and he would watch
all the shooters,
what their players did.
Yeah.
So you
and I see a ton of value in that. But during the game, like when you make a mistake and there's a broken up play, like you know who made a mistake, you know what went down. You don't have to, go back to the bench and justify in that moment. Wait till the end of the period. Wait till the end of the game. There's plenty of video. You're going to see video all day long.
Torch is probably going to tell you, too.
He's probably going to tell you. Yeah, right, exactly.
Bench, right? You don't really need to see
And I think this is like a lot of insecurity in players, and you see this. They want to justify their mistake. They want to blame it on somebody or something, just to make themselves feel a little better. But to me, you make a mistake, bad shift, bad turnover, whatever it is, like put a period on the end of that shift, just shake it off. Have a little powwow with your teammate, and talk it through. I think that's more important than isolating yourself with an iPad. But there's situations. You're right. There's certain situations that could be warranted. But to do that right away after every shift, to me, you've lost the essence of it. It's a distraction, and it takes away from the game, in my opinion, anyways.
Well, that's a true coach's answer there, Debo. You hear the coach talking over here, bud?
What are you drinking there, Nast?
A little teasy.
Oh, I like it. Too much caffeine this morning? Or?
No, I didn't have enough.
There you go.
This is good, though.
I thought it was decaffeinated.
Did you know I'm an awesome dad?
Yeah, I
Elvis
knew that.
Got me that.
Oh, I love it. What else we got, Nast? Moving on.
Flyers have they stayed fairly hot, 8 of 12.
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah.
Kind of hanging around there. It's pissing some people off. They want the Bedard.
I know.
But
ain't happening.
And even last night, I know you were at the game. Like they fought back in that game.
Yeah.
Made it a game. Just an unlucky goal. Kind of, one you want to have back, but
I thought it was a really good game, man. The fans got into it.
Yeah.
But anytime you start off the game 3 Cobb in the first 10, it's tough to come back. There were some nice goals by the Jets there.
Yeah.
Hard to defend a couple of them,
team.
but they fought back. There was some good flow to the game, but come up short. But it was certainly a better game than the previous home game against Chicago that I was at, which was kind of a sleeper. But overall, like you said, 8 of the last 12 is certainly a lot better than the early part of the season. They're trending in the right way. They're finding ways to win games. There's more of an essence there. You're feeling some sort of substance there. I feel in these last few games. So nice to see. Guys are contributing. They're working. You never say never, right? You see, guys finding ways to score goals. So we'll see how this continues to go the next few games, and hopefully we can still squeeze out some wins and keep that culture, that energy alive here.
Be nice. And our boy Hollywood Hayes celebrated his 600th game.
Yeah, a couple snipes last night.
Yeah, he's got
good, right?
5 goals in 3 games, I think.
I thought he was actually going to get the Hattie last night, tie the game. That's what I was kind of hoping for. But nonetheless, finding ways to score goals, right?
Love that guy.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Other things going on in the league. Steven Stamkos.
Not
scored
bad.
His 500th G. Not bad.
I
remember him coming in when he was I almost said freshman, when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
Barry Melrose said he's not ready.
Not ready, no.
Not ready to play yet. But nothing against Barry Melrose. I love Barry Melrose, but I just remember he was coaching there. I don't know if you remember that. He had a quick stint, and then he was done. But congrats to Stammer. He's a good dude, man. I've been able to work a little bit with him. Did some Bauer stuff. Great guy, man.
Yeah, he seems like an absolute pro and solid human. So
yeah, he is. And my boy Ryan Millsy.
Oh yeah,
had his number retired,
no
jersey
big deal.
retired in Buffalo. Very well deserved. Mm-hmm. Man, that guy was good.
Yeah,
we talked about really the run with Biz when I got the old triple decker kicked in the dick.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Millsy was on fire. I remember I actually took a cab from from the airport to our hotel to the village when I got there, and I didn't really know him. I'd always said hi to him, seen him at the rink and stuff, but didn't really know him. And what a good dude! And man, was he good in that tournament. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
hell of a goalie.
He just looked like he wasn't going to get scored on the whole time. But
It's confidence, Nast.
yep, I know.
It's confidence.
But congrats to Millsy, man. Great career. Just awesome guy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome guy. And then Bruce, there it went. Poor guy.
Poor guy. I felt bad, man. It almost made me cry.
Crying,
I know,
man.
dude,
Like,
man.
Come on, dude.
You talk
You're
about a guy
rich.
that's like, boy, I know, right? But his heart is fully invested in the game.
know,
It's got to be tough, no matter how much money you make. Especially for the way they dragged it out.
Yeah.
And we had heard through the grapevine. We're not sure how true it is, so let's not get this thing, taken out of context here. But we had heard that Talk had actually made an agreement with the Canucks around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And that there was a contractual issue with TNT, having given him 4 weeks to pull the plug. So they were extending Bruce's stay, knowing the Talk was coming in, but he had to wait that 4 weeks, which is
hard.
Which is crazy. And if that's true, then they probably should have brought Mike Yeo in for the interim head coaching position there for 30 days or whatever. And then however that panned out after, obviously Talk comes in, Yossi stays.
Yeah.
He brings in 2 other assistants, Adam Foote and Sergei Gonchar, but there could have been a better way to handle that, because everyone's sitting back. Like, I'm sitting here with my parents, and every day is like, why is he not getting fired?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I think Debo had something to do with that. He's a Vancouver fan. How many Vancouver fans are from here?
Not many.
Not many.
No.
Debo, though.
Yeah.
He has the inside scoop. That's where we got our scoops from. Everyone. No, but
underground.
you're right. Like, if that is true, that would have been a tough month. But congrats to Talk, love.
Yeah,
Friend of the
I
show,
think it's
good
a
man, known him fucking long time, and
tough situation to hop into, though.
Yeah. I would imagine when you take a job like that, probably off the record, like, hey, like, you got to give me a couple years here.
Yeah, for sure.
Or whatever it is.
For sure.
Whatever it may be. But Talk's got that way of, and I think the players loved Bruce.
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard a player say they didn't like that man.
I agree.
Just, whatever. But Talk has a way of getting guys going, and he's a real players coach from, the guys that we've seen or talked to that have played with him. And so I'm glad Yossi got to stay too, because Yossi's a good man.
Yeah,
He's a good
100%.
man.
I was
like him a
happy
lot,
to see that. But anytime there's a new coach, a new voice, it shifts. It shifts. Whether it's going to be a permanent shift for this year or not, it will be to be seen. But generally there's a an increase of energy the first few games, right?
Yeah.
Guys start playing a little bit differently, a little bit harder. But I think obviously they need to upgrade the team there, obviously, to have any sort of sustained success. But nice to see Talk get back in the coaching. It's probably a tough one for him to leave that nice cushy TNT gig with Biz and
just look like
the crew.
fun.
Yeah, I know,
probably
right?
Can't seem like work either,
No.
like.
But when you're a coach and you have an opportunity to get back in the game, if he turned that job down, I'm sure he would never get another head coaching job.
And
ever.
he's such a competitive guy.
Yeah.
I actually was texting with him last night, and he's pumped.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
pumped,
I bet.
So that's awesome.
Not a bad spot to be.
That's right.
Couve. What else we got now?
Only thing I just got to say, you watch the Bruins play. Do these guys lose?
Oh my gosh, insane!
It's insane.
If they stay healthy, man, I don't see anybody beating these guys.
But see, like, I almost wonder, do you want to be this good all year? And then it just never seems to work out where a President's Trophy team.
You're right.
I know it has happened.
Yeah.
But,
No, I hear you. Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, can you sustain that momentum?
man, they're good.
Yeah, they're good, man.
They're good. God,
relentless.
they're good. And congrats to, we've said it before, but Jim Montgomery, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone thought they would be where they are.
No, I don't think so.
But
hell of a team.
Oh my God,
Fun to watch.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
McAvoy scored a goal yesterday. Maybe Baller to throw it up. Maybe he already did. Actually, you think you did actually throw it up. That's where I saw it. But look like you. And it's a little toe drag.
Soft
But,
nets, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that
It
was
happens.
nets. I was telling your dad and your mom about that. How the guys go like, I can't believe how good Riles is. I'm like, well, it wasn't the movie Goon where they pushed him out and skate.
and
I'm like,
figure skates.
yeah, like Like he actually played junior hockey and everything else. Like it's funny, but
it wasn't always a plug.
But yeah. Anyway, that's about the roundup. Just with other teams and stuff, but it's getting exciting, getting closer to the trade deadline and all that. See, lots of stuff could happen. So
there'll be some movement.
Really interesting in the National Hockey League.
Oh yeah, always is. And Nasty, we're creeping on February 15th.
Are you ready though?
Dude, I've been ready since the summertime.
You better be ready. Joe messaged me the other day. He goes, I keep hearing you guys talk about the Roxy on the show.
Oh,
and I said, bro, you're in.
Oh, yeah.
So, I can't wait. It's going to be a great trip. Going to Seattle, see our boy Hack. Now we're going to get to see Talk.
Oh, yeah.
In
That'd
Vancouver.
Be awesome.
Hopefully we can get some sound bites from both of them.
It'd be nice.
And definitely get Dave try to get Dave Haxtell on the show when he comes to town the next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah, man. So I can't wait for this trip. They do it. It's not even close. No one's close to fans of Philly, and I can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Like I said, my bags have been packed since summertime.
All you take's a backpack.
And, dude, I'm ready to go.
You travel lighter than anyone I've ever seen in my life.
It's been packed.
All right.
My one shirt and one pair of pants has been locked and loaded. So we're ready to go now.
But you'll have 5 pair of those socks because you have about 20.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, we're in the hemp socks.
The hempsies.
Yeah.
All right.
You gotta upgrade your socks.
Oh, no, man. I'm feeling lucky, boys.
Oh, yeah. You're always lucky, Nast.
Feeling lucky today.
Yeah.
I probably won't get lucky, but I'm feeling it.
Well, you look it.
Thanks.
Ready to rock here, Nast.
Let's do it.
Episode 102 with our boy, Ryan Malone.
Bugsy.
Presented to you by Curaleaf. Welcome to Curaleaf, a medical marijuana dispensary. Whether you're a longtime patient or you're just getting acquainted with this incredible plant, Curaleaf of Pennsylvania is honored to guide you along your medical marijuana journey. Have questions? Google Curaleaf PA or stop by one of their 18 locations across the Commonwealth or visit curaleaf.com/locations. Nasty. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome back. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre. And this week, we are so fortunate to have a good buddy of mine, one of my favorite guys. Didn't ever have him on a team like for a year, but got to work with him with Team USA, one of my favorite guys ever. Former 4th-round pick for the Pittsburgh Penguins, number 115, if you're keeping track of that. And the first young man from Pittsburgh to wear the jersey. Mr. Ryan Malone, we like to call you Bugsy, baby. What's up?
What's up? Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you carving out the time.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
No worries. I put the blue jersey behind me, so not too many Philly fans would get mad at me right away for a black.
Right.
Man, we were just
it runs deep.
Yeah, man, I know it's amazing. We were actually talking about that before you jumped on with us, but then I saw that jersey. I'm like, man, which jersey's that? That's his dad's jersey. That's so cool.
It looks
man.
fresh too.
They only did that 1 year, you said?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it's a collector's item. I was lucky enough to obviously have my dad play there and put it up there. I think his gloves there you can see in the corner as well.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's
and then
awesome,
even this little, I guess this picture right here is pretty cool. We both won the Players Player Award.
No way.
Yeah, I was in 07, 08, and he was back in 79, where the guys kind of vote on whatever that is. So I thought that was pretty special and cool part of.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
that jersey's cool. That would be a great retro jersey.
No kidding, right?
Throwing that one back in there, that's sick.
Talk to Tags.
So what do you?
Tags on it.
Yeah, I know,
Tags,
right? I know. I got to get on Tags.
I was gonna say the outdoor jerseys look dirty. I like what they did there. That was really cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was gonna say though, Tags has to run that by Hexy. Hexy likes having a little. He likes to know what's going on with the jerseys because when we had that the jerseys a few years ago that had the beige in them.
Oh yeah,
he was not a fan. He was like, wear those as little as possible. But everyone loved them because they're different.
Yeah,
anytime you get something different, people are gonna buy it. So, but that would be sick. Tags, get on it, man. Come on.
Tags, yeah. I didn't know Hexy 2 is actually from Pittsburgh originally.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Rutherford
I didn't know that either. I thought he was a Manitoba boy.
Rutherford, his dad played there.
That's right.
And Rutherford, he grew up like that was his guy. He looked up to him a lot. I think he has one of his masks or something. I can't remember. Yeah, but anyway, it's funny. He ends up in Pittsburgh. We never thought he would.
Right?
Like it's being playing for the Flyers for so long, and it's almost weird seeing him in the in his zip up or something. But they're doing a good job there, so that's cool.
Doubt.
He's there.
So what have you been up to there, Bugsy? What's cooking in your world?
Yeah, just a little bit chasing kids around mostly. At twin girls that are 3 now down here in Florida. I got my older boys back in Minnesota, so trying to do the best dad I can, and got involved with the alumni recently, which has been really exciting. I think I found more of my purpose there. And kind of reaching out to guys and seeing how we can help structure the alumni associations in every state to kind of just make sure we're on the same page. Everyone's getting that information, and it's been really exciting to be part of.
Nice. It's important work because, as we know, the alumni across the board need some sort of reforming. We've talked a little bit about this in the last few weeks. You're also doing some stuff with the Pittsburgh Penguins Warriors team. Is that correct?
Yeah, my dad and I, we started a foundation, the Malone Family Foundation, and our first event was to help the Pittsburgh Warriors kind of start their disabled veterans hockey league in Pittsburgh. So that's been exciting. We got some exciting plans this year coming up to help continue that support for veterans. Provide access to the game for everyone. And I think, as we know, especially when we leave the game, we all end up in the beer league at some point. And
right.
There's so many values that you can pass on and realize it's just not, the one goal is to make it to the NHL. I understand that's everyone's hope and dream, but unfortunately only 1% of the people can do that. But to have that locker room atmosphere, camaraderie with guys and girls, and that little safe haven where everyone can kind of go be themselves and lean on each other in a time of need, I think is just beautiful. You guys done a great job there in Philadelphia as well, supporting the Warrior program, and realize that's what it's all about, is having a place to go and feel comfortable and learn something new. So what's exciting is some of the Warriors have never played hockey before, so just to have that opportunity, get them some gear, get them some skating lessons, get them some ice time, and then teach them the game of hockey. But ultimately, it's their therapy, and they all are those like-minded individuals where we all can lean on each other. And I don't even think it's just for the players; it's for the wives as well. It's the whole package for everyone to just know you're not alone. And I think that's a big stigma back in the day. I think break the ice. I know the Penguins are involved with that mentality of it's okay to not be okay, and back in the day, you're considered weak for asking for help and all these things. And now you realize it's okay to have that mentality. And if you're in trouble, it's okay to speak up. And we're all human beings. We're all going through something. So let's help each other out instead of, put each other down.
Yeah, no, so good point there. It's like you said, like the stigma was once it was a sign of weakness, and now it's a sign of strength. Asking for help is important, because if you keep quiet, you're never going to get any help. And that's what we see with a lot of these guys we work with the Warriors too. I mean, it's like you said, a sense of community. It's like that locker room, that group type mentality that they're used to, just like we are, right? I mean, we're used to that locker room, bouncing stuff off the guys, and how important that is. Like you said, it's therapy. So it's nice to see you getting involved in that, because it's important work. And as you mentioned too, all roads do lead to the beer league, and it's nice to play with these guys. We've played in a couple of tournaments with them, played some, pickup games with them. And it's nice to see them connect to something, because, outside of this program, a lot of these guys wouldn't have a whole lot. So a lot of important work there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, I think it's really an opportunity even for alumni, possibly to get involved in each, wherever you might be, because it seems like there's a lot of Warrior programs around. So I know I put it at the Bug in Glenn's ear. I'm sure guys, it helps both ways as well. It's kind of hard always asking guys for something, but I think when you mention the word veteran, most guys stand up and are very easy to help out and understand the freedom isn't free, and the game we play is a privilege. So really to repay them, I feel it's kind of our duty to help them out any way we can. So it's been overwhelming with the support and everything that we're getting there in Pittsburgh, and it's just been very humbling.
Yeah, no doubt. And you mentioned the word purpose earlier, and I think, to your last point there, I think it is important for the alumni to get involved in this, because as we've seen, and I'm sure you've seen too, is when guys retire, they struggle with a lack of purpose, like where to invest their energy and focus. And, I believe that, helping people out is a huge place to start, whatever that looks like. But obviously a program like that, you mentioned freedom isn't free, and supporting the veterans seems to be like a good place to start, especially in the hockey community. So I think it's a win-win. These guys love hockey players, and obviously the guys love the support of the veterans, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of this
sure.
mutual dichotomy. So important stuff. I'm happy that you're getting involved in that, because I think this program continues to expand across the NHL
every year, yeah,
and will continue to grow. I think the Flyers Warriors here have 4 teams now, almost 100 guys.
Yeah, 4 teams now. They just
incredible.
keep getting more coming in, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I even think I saw one more. Did he end up signing like a minor pro contract?
He did, yeah.
Phil. Yeah, Phil. Our boy
shout
Phil
out to
Foster.
Phil. Yeah.
He got a couple screws loose up there. He might or may not have gotten banned from the checking for charity.
Oh, yeah, right.
We shouldn't bring that up. Never mind.
Right.
Never mind. But yeah, you know what's funny, Bugsy? We get to spend quite a bit of time with these guys, and they're on all of them, all and gals, awesome people. And the one thing I noticed is, like you mentioned a minute ago, is things guys miss. Like even me, just being an equipment guy, was like, you miss being in the room with the boys and chirping, and these guys are ruthless, man. Like the worst chirps. Like you're like, whoa, like that's like you might have crossed the line there. They don't, and it's hilarious. They just give it to each other. I mean, we played in a tournament with them a couple summers ago, and man, they're literally ruthless.
Oh
man.
yeah, it was hardcore. I thought I was back to my playing days.
Yeah,
like,
no,
man.
But great guys, and it is like Riley said, it's awesome. You're getting involved with that because it's very important.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think we all have a screw loose, or we're all built.
Yeah, yeah,
that's the truth.
We kind of all keep us together,
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Let's jump into your career a little bit there, Bugsy. Obviously, Matt Nasty mentioned you being drafted to Pittsburgh from Pittsburgh, which is must have been a pretty cool experience. Maybe start there. I mean, what was that like?
That was man, I don't even know how to put that in the words, because it's I think a lot of people don't know, after my dad got done playing, then he became a scout there in Pittsburgh. And he was the head scout, drafting guys from Yager all the way up to Sid and Fleury and all these guys.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I always make the joke he drafted Biz and Witt as well.
Yeah, right.
they still actually in Murley too. That whole crew of guys in the Army, and it all worked out for everybody. But honestly, I just remember being a kid around the dressing room in those days, and Yags was 18. You had Trotz was in there. I just remember everyone just joking, having so much fun, pulling pranks on each other. And my dad played in Hartford. I remember Ron Francis throwing my brother into like the dirty laundry bin, and then he was like my favorite player coming back to Pittsburgh. But being in the rink and kind of seeing that side, and in that old Civic Arena, I remember honestly rollerblading around, playing hide and go seek with Craig Patrick and his kids, and Eddie Johnson and his boy Joe were all the same age growing up there. So it was awesome. Our playground was at Civic Arena, and these seats are actually from that rink when they were tearing it.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the early 90s, I remember, being a fan. I was 13 with the, Let's Go Pens and the Jaws posters, going crazy as a fan. And then there's even a picture of me, Mario, and my brother on the back of the bus on the way to the Stanley Cup, parade.
Oh, wow. How cool is that?
I mean, maybe that's why I never won the Stanley Cup. So I actually touched it back then.
You cursed yourself.
I never thought I'd make it to the NHL. My dad never put any pressure on it. He always asked how after my games, did you have fun? I'm like, oh yeah. Like, oh, what do you think about this? He's like, well, at the end of the day, it was about just really having fun. Because I think he thought there's no way you're going to make it, because chances are not good. There's so many more values to be taught. And him and my mom, it was kind of like, the janitor or the president of the school. They're all equal, and you should treat everyone the same. So that character is always kind of stuck with us. And I went on to say, and when I was about 15, my dad was like, you want to, try hockey and take it more seriously. You can go up to this camp. Herb Brooks and Chuck Rillo started there in Minnesota with JP Parisi, Minnesota hockey camps. And I went up there for 6 weeks, and I enjoyed every second, but I remember not even being able to walk upstairs or sitting on the toilet because you're jumping over tires. And, it was crazy, kind of more military style training. But I loved every second that I went, and really fell in love with the game. And at the end of the day, even when I was even after I got drafted, I understood that there was a lot of work to go. My dad would always say, look how many first rounders get drafted, right? And still don't pan out. So, I mean, that's just the beginning of the work, and just kind of put my time in. And when I was at school at St. Cloud, a few of my buddies signed contracts, and then I saw them play on TV, and I'm like, oh, geez, maybe I can play.
Yeah, right.
And realize, oh, maybe there is a chance there. And I think the stars aligned the 1 year coming into camp. They're kind of rebuilding a little bit. And honestly, leaving school, I was like, well, either way, I'm going to play in Wilkes-Barre or Pittsburgh. And I'm like, so I get to say hockey's my job now? I just thought that was like the best thing. No matter where I fell, I just knew hockey was something I loved. And I got lucky enough to, make the team that year. And it was just a wow moment. You get to pull on the sweater for real. And being from Pittsburgh, those colors mean everything. So it was so special to put that jersey on and kind of represent the city that way.
Nice. And you didn't waste any time your first year. I mean, I think 22 snipes, hell of a season before the lockout year. I mean, rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Well, you were rookie all-star, I 2004 there. But it's pretty impressive to come into the NHL and perform like that. As you mentioned, maybe they were in a rebuild, but nonetheless, it's no coincidence that you poured in the work and had success. So props to you for that.
Yeah, I know. I got a question, Bugsy, before you got there. So you're at St. Cloud State for college. This guy's got that smile Neil Little.
Yes, he does.
He's got that smile, and like Uppy has it too, where you could smile at a girl and say anything you want, where I'd get smacked if I said something. This guy's got that. Look at it.
Yeah.
He's got that look. But I got to ask you, you're going in as a freshman, dude. You must have just been cleaning up. Because I know you well enough. I just mean like, dude, the chicks must have been digging this guy. First of all, he's playing hockey, big guy, but he's just, look at the smile he's got. It's like Linz.
It's contagious.
I've seen Linz say some of the most outrageous things, and girls just giggle, and then someone else say it, they get popped in the face.
I was lucky. My dad, it's I don't even know. It's probably not even appropriate to say on air. But,
it's all right.
It's the hunt that'll kill you late night, trying just if you want real girls, which isn't the way to go. But as a young kid, you kind of figure your own self out. But ultimately, if you still treat them with respect and open the doors and a gentleman, treat them right. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I had to throw that in there because I just like, man, he's schooled for 4 years. Oh my God. But anyway,
when you go to college, though, it's like crazy. You have co-ed dorms and showers. It's like, that's
amazing.
Like, why are these guys going to major, junior? You're like,
right. Yeah, like Van Wilder, you stay in school.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's the same age, which you don't really realize until you leave school, and then you kind of go back in that real world. You're not seeing everybody your age and doing things like that. But St. Cloud was a great group of guys. Man, we just had the best time there, and it was so fun, ultimately. And looking back, I remember choosing that school just because it was more of of a blue collar school. Their weight room was kind of a piece of shit compared to like the University of Minnesota or Michigan State, BC, BU. I was like, Dad, look at all these, like Wisconsin, like they have nicer stuff than the Penguins. Like how, like it was crazy. Remember going on those visits and realizing like, man, the Penguins just have this little, like character building as well. So, but yeah, St. Cloud was special, and same thing. It's all about the character there, that blue collar. I like that mentality. So it was fun to pull together with those guys. And we had 4 great years. We never got over the hurdle, but we were always nationally ranked and had a great time. So it was time to be cherished. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
nice.
agree with that. But like Riley said, you did jump right into the league and had a great year. So you end up playing there 3 years, I believe, and you got traded to Tampa. And played with a few of our buddies.
Yeah.
While he was there.
Yeah. Well, before you moved on to Tampa, you get the opportunity to play on a line with Crosby and Rex.
That's right.
How was that?
Yeah, it was great. I think that first year I was working the half wall, and then Mario came back, and then they stacked the team with like Paul Fee, Leclaire, and we were going for it when we got Sid. And I just remember from that Minnesota hockey camps is like, okay, you got to have a backup game. If you're a 50 goal scorer in juniors, if you want to get to the next level, you might have to be a checker, right, to be on that team. So you have to have kind of different tools in the toolbox, and that's something I always remembered from Chuck and Herbie, just teaching me to have that backup game. So my dad, and myself, like, well, where am I going to play? I better learn to fight a little bit and get in front of the net and get into those dirty areas. So it kind of just to get on the ice with those guys was great. And, to think at that level and break the game down, it was just a pleasure to be around and have that opportunity to play with them. And it was so exciting. Even playing with Mario there was a dream come true.
Sure.
It was crazy, and then you get to know him more as a person and a friend. And you join the Hearts game back in the day. They're like, oh, you know how to play Hearts? And like, I used to play on the computer. So I'm like, oh, sure. They bring me back to the plane, and Mario knows every card like you're holding. He knows everything played. They're counting the cards. I'm like, just paying for lessons each week.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, this is a different game. Holy. So it was just took it to a whole new level, the way those guys process information and how they handle themselves. But it was awesome. And as you know, Sid, till this day, still hardest working guy. You can't have a better leader that gets it, really. And we keep talking about this character. It keeps coming up as he understands a person, even in Wilkes-Barre, that might be up and down, might be the key piece to helping them get over the hump in the playoffs, because you need everybody, and everyone should be treated the same. And I think that speaks volumes to those great leaders. Stammer's another great example of that. Those guys have been around, and you see their character and how they treat people. That's what it's all about. And sometimes I think parents, especially with their kids, it's a shame. It's a shame sometimes what these parents put their kids in. They're like, oh, you have to score this amount of goals. That's what I'm like, okay, well, we have 20 guys on the team. Everyone's not going to score a goal today. What else can you do to be a good teammate, right? Maybe block a shot, have a good line change, get off the ice, in 30 seconds, 45 seconds. What else can you do to help score goals? I think that, plays out to all those character and the little things that add up to, winning at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt. You just mentioned Stammer. We were going to talk about Stammer. He scored his 500th goal the other day.
Shoot the puck pretty well.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, he was another. I was very fortunate. I remember leaving Pittsburgh was a very hard decision, but I thought Hossa was going to sign there for sure. And they ended up trading, I think, me, Gary Roberts, and Rex to Tampa were our rights. And it was a good fit. We had Vinny and Marty were already there, and then Stammer coming in. So hopefully I knew I'd be able to play with one of those two centermen. And I remember Barry Melrose, and the whole thing was like seeing Stamkos, and they were treating him like the next Michael Jordan. And just this baby-faced 18-year-old kid with a lot of pressure on him, and it's great to see him have this amazing career and overcome those injuries, and it just speaks to their character. These guys that have had this amazing success, it's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, no doubt. And Nasty mentioned a couple guys I landed up playing with, and Nasty had here with the Flyers. Steve Downie. We actually talked about him a couple weeks ago. Todd Fedoruk, Simone Gagne.
Yeah.
Who else? There's Antero Ninemaki.
Oh yeah.
Some Nitty. Yeah.
One time, Bugsy, we'd come in and you guys had an optional skate, and God, I always forget the name. Who was the one assistant coach? Wes Walls?
Wes Walls.
He could just buzz, right? So it's one of the funniest things ever. So I come up, I walk down your guys' tunnel to your bench because Nitty was standing there. Ninemaki was drinking some water, so I walked over and gave him a hug, and he's like, "Was it Oates? Wasn't Adam Oates one of your coaches?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there was a few guys out on the ice, and Nitty was a pretty funny guy. I gave him a hug, and we're kind of chatting. I'm like, "What's going on here? What are we doing?" And Oatesy was passing someone. He goes, Oates thinks he's in the Boston Garden feeding Cam Neely. And he goes, and Wes Walls tells us every day he's the best player on the team that's not even on the team, and he was just buzzing around. He retired because of his skates. Remember that?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
They wouldn't make the skates he was wearing, and they said that was in his presser retiring. It was one of the main reasons was they couldn't get his skates anymore or something like that. But I remember just dying laughing. Yeah, Oatsy thinks he's giving Cam Neely one-timers in the Garden. He's like, it's a shit show. But Steve Downie, I remember you and I talking about Downs one time, and you were like complimenting him like from the hash marks in, or the dots in, like how good a hands this guy had. I don't know if he's probably underrated that way, the mitts he had.
Oh yeah, he was a player. I mean, him and Stamkos, we all kind of lived right in the same neighborhood, so I felt they were my little brothers. I kind of took him under my wing a little bit. And Downs, him and I played similar roles on the power play. We're both in front. And actually, when Gagne came to Tampa, I gave him number 12, and I wore 6. And Downs was 9, so we were in front of the net on the power play. We were always like 69.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll get him with love.
Yeah.
And, but he bared down. He had a great career. He had obviously some head injuries there. He played with his heart on that edge or over that edge a little bit. But no anybody would take him on their team when it come playoff time. He's a valuable asset and a great kid. So, Downs was great. And even Fridge, you got to have that character in the room. And he's one of those guys that, fills all the boxes, and he's there to stand up for his teammates. And it was pretty amazing to know all those guys. And that's where I think the hockey community is so amazing, because you always, hate playing against some of these guys. But once they put that sweater on, it's like, all right, we're on this path together now. You're on our side. And it's like, let's ride. So I think that's something pretty cool about, the brotherhood and just accepting each other, as we are, and welcoming them on the team. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And, you mentioned Downs, and, obviously a hell of a player. Mitts, I mean, like underrated mitts for sure. But we talked a couple weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer, but, Downs is doing really, really well. He fell off the map there for 4 or 5 years where he was MIA. Concussion related issues and some relationship issues and all that stuff. But, I had him down in Jamaica with us in I guess last February in one of these retreats we do down in Jamaica with the psilocybin mushrooms. And since then, he's really turned his life around, and he's got, you talk about purpose. He's found his purpose. He's running these snowmobiling camps up in Northern Ontario, and same old Downs, but he's lively and he's doing well. So it's nice to see him turn his life around. And Friggy, the same thing. Friggy's been sober 12 years, and he's doing a lot of good work in the community, with his addiction clinic, and he's big part of the alumni as well as the Warriors too. So you hear all these like hardships with guys, good-hearted people that that go through their struggles, but I just wanted to mention that for people that haven't heard Downs' name in a long time, because, people, it's out of sight, out of mind. People forget. And these are humans too, right? They're not just pieces of meat to go put out there to score goals or whatever and fight. So
that's great. I mean, it was actually very emotional because sometimes you feel like you have to isolate yourself, if you're going through whatever, and that's where we're saying, hey, we're all going through this purpose, and what do I do now? Like, I don't know how to write a resume or do anything, and I know hockey. Like,
exactly right.
On your blinders are on, and you got to start stepping back, look at the big picture, and I think that's what is cool about joining the alumni and helping this cause. Glenn and those guys have done an amazing job the last 5 years of really establishing that alumni brand on its own, and now it's I think trickling down into each city to kind of, okay, this year we get our ducks in a row here, because I think we got a lot of special things coming for everybody, and ultimately it's to be connected even when you're done. It doesn't mean you don't need to talk to anybody. You can kind of see what guys have done before you or where they are now and pick what path you might want to go down or try, but you don't have to do it alone. I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing we're there for each other and we can lean on each other in those hard times, because you get out of the game, you're like, man, I was doing some stuff. It's just a whole different world that you go back to the real world. You're like, oh, you guys don't drink after like every day?
Yeah, right. Like big shocker.
And we just sweat it out in the morning, and like, it's over, going on a bender. It's like, oh, I earned the bender. It's like, just like, what? So, but I think that's just as you get older and a little wiser, you realize what's more important in life and what that purpose is. And I think that's the exciting part. Now to kind of lean into that, and looking back of all the mistakes you made, they all have rhyme and reason to them, so they all led you where you are here today. So I think it's exciting what you guys are doing and what everyone's doing around the league here to help each other out.
Yeah, I think, before moving on, just building off that, like, I think you see in the culture of hockey, it's actually somewhat reforming itself. We went from the old school ways of just everyone is required to go to the bar and drink, and to it's, there's so much money and resources invested in strength and conditioning and recovery that, guys are, using cannabis-based products for recovery. It's like, there's obviously still drinking, but there's a lot less of it as far as, bearing your sorrows and your pain and suffering, in the bottle and stuff like that. You're seeing, these guys using different, plant-based therapies. Even when I was coaching the Phantoms, we had guys in the back of the bus, infusing their peanut butter, coconut oil with cannabis. And, again, instead of crushing 12 beers on the bus after games, they're actually, putting some sort of mindfulness into their recovery. So naturally that equates to better mental health over time, but you're seeing this, on the backside of it when guys retire, that there's so much more out there for guys as far as resources and different tools that guys can lean on that isn't alcohol. So things are changing.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, ice it from the inside was always the way, I think, before just
right.
Throw back all the beers, and then it just kind of compounds the problem. I mean, I think we all are feeling it now. I mean, I'm in the 40s, like, you don't get up and move the body and get the mind right. It's the day can kind of be wishy-washy. So it's important. It's great to see guys just doing their own research as well of what works and doesn't work and what's beneficial for everybody. Everyone's different, and I think it's great. And I mean, I know on the mental side of things, you got Carey Price, I think, really kind of leading the charge in that department. You're right. I can't imagine the pressure he's feeling in Montreal to get back. Right. And I think that just speaks volumes at where we're at today, and everyone kind of respecting him and his family and their space. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I do admire him and what he's doing to kind of lead that charge for that younger generation. And I think as we get older too, it's like, okay, what are we doing to help these younger guys coming up? So they don't have to go through what we went through, and make sure they're protected from, I remember when Ambien first came out, they're just, hand them to you off the bus.
Oh my God.
I know.
I remember waking up, it was like me, Lyle Odeline, Brian Vendebush, and maybe Eric Carnes. We all just woke up in the hotel room like, what the hell? Just we all have our suits on. We didn't even know what we are. I was like, whoa. So I think all that's come, a long way of them monitoring that stuff. And I think the guys know how a slippery slope some of that stuff is, especially the pain stuff, and what it can do. So it is great. I think it's great for the game, and it's great for the guys. So what else can you do besides kind of share that information to make them make their own choices?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it needs to be reformed from the inside, right? It starts with the players, and being more mindful and doing their own research. So now it's extending out to these outside networks, like you said, the alumni, the older generation guys that maybe weren't introduced to these types of treatment protocols, and then the Flyers Warriors, or the Warriors guys, right, that were generally using traditional therapies, and mainly doing the same things we were doing back in the day. But it's changing. The world is changing, right? It's not just the hockey culture. It's just kind of the microcosm of the macro. So it is nice to see, no doubt. Sorry for the quick break. Just a quick shout out to our sponsor, DLI Commercial, a premier commercial construction and building maintenance company offering support at every phase. Thank you for your support. Check them out at DLI Commercial for all your construction needs. Back to the show. Just getting back to your playing days. I know we got off on a little tangent there, but you've been able to play under a few different coaches. Barry Melrose in Tampa. Rick Tocchet, who just landed up getting the head coaching job there in Vancouver. John Cooper, who's coined as probably one of the most progressive and successful current coaches. Maybe starting with Barry Melrose. I know you had probably a short stint with him, and then getting into Tocchet there, and then Coops. But talk about some leadership from these guys back in the day when you were playing with these guys.
Yeah, I think Barry was there. Yeah, short time. I think it was that Tampa situation was just weird at first, because the owners, hired the coach before a general manager, and it was kind of old school at first. Even I remember just that first year in Tampa. Actually, I remember calling Mario like, "Hey, is there a way I can donate money back to the rink or something?"
Come on.
Because you went from staying like the details and all these fine things that got you to the Stanley Cup final to Barry style is very old school kind of. I'm gonna say shinny hockey. Like, okay, we're gonna play the left wing lock, and we're gonna play man on man D. And it was like, go play. And thank God we had Mike Smith back in net. I think he saw 50, 60 shots or games. They were like, Barry, we need to get the film and stuff. So Marty and Vinny kind of helped guide the ship there. And but Barry just wanted that old school. Like, even in camp, he wanted to see guys, fighting for those spots and really put the heart on the line. And man, it was just different mentality, especially I was coming out of the Stanley Cup final where my body still felt it hurt. So I was like, I don't want to touch anybody in preseason. We need more out of you. I'm like, shit. But yeah, that lasted only 16 games. And that's where I don't know if it's come from management or whatever, but that's when they were kind of even trying to healthy scratch Stamkos so he could work out instead of playing the games.
I remember that. Yeah. What a crazy thought.
It was a little confusing, because I think did he have 30 goals his first year?
Yeah, I think he did his first year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't strong enough, though. He wasn't strong enough to put him in the gym.
He was playing with me and Evgeny Artutin, which is an animal.
Oh, wow. I remember him.
I don't know. Yeah. He's like a freak, clean hits. I just remember him breaking guys' collarbones. He was just an animal. And, yeah, we just got to give Stammer the puck and let him do his thing. But I just still remember the coaches kind of they weren't toying with him. Obviously, they're trying to do what was best for him. But to see how that started and where it is now, it's great to see where he is.
Yeah.
And then Tocchet. Right. Yeah, Tocchet he was great. He was, you got to respect someone that I think he has 1,000 points, 1,000 PIMs. He was old school in Pittsburgh there, winning the cups, coming back with a broken jaw and playing in the games like that. All that is you have nothing but mad respect for someone that'll lay it on the line like that. And as a coach, I think he understands, to push those buttons. And I think he walks in the room, everyone should automatically respect him for the character he brings and the type of player he is. So just kind of having that trust for the players. And I think if the players know, you're willing to go to bat for them and, stand in front of the media and take the hits, whatever it may be. They know that you care. It should be a good response from the players. So yeah, I think Talk will do hopefully a good job there in Vancouver, kind of turn that ship around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
What about Coop?
Coop and I did not get off to a hot start.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I think they were bringing up, they had all those guys in the American League that won.
That's right.
The best part about Stevie Y, he was honest with our kind of core group there. Even when we traded Downs, he brought a few of us in and said, hey, we're going to move Downs. Obviously, we're all upset and everything, but I really respected him for doing that and bringing the group in and letting us know, like, hey, I have to do this, and this is the worst part about my job, but at the end of the day, it is a business, and that is what it is. But I respected Stevie Y for that. Coop and I don't know. He just always I felt he had it out for me, even at training camp. Sometimes it was one day, like, okay, there was whatever time team workout was. I wasn't in there because I actually worked out earlier in the morning and did my thing. I didn't think I had to be in there, like when the whole team had to be in there, because it's like chaos when there's a bunch of guys in there. Yeah. Anyway, that kind of just led to like some other little things. And then in training camp, he's like, are you going to be able to keep up? I'm like, with Marty and Stammer, I go, no, I'm not going to keep up. That's not my job. I'm like the second move, or like someone's got to go get the puck for these guys. But so I think right away he just kind of already knew that I was, trying to be replaceable. And I remember just being on the fourth line and in and out of the lineup. And then I fought Kevin Westgarth in Calgary because he kind of ran a Bishop, our goalie. And then the next night I fought my buddy Mike Stewart after he ran somebody. And then he sat me I was like in the first period, then he sat me on the bench the rest of the game. The third period, there was going to be another like end of the game fight. They kind of brought their guys out. He like tapped me on the pads to go out, and I was just kind of like, F you,
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I said. And then
that's exactly what it is.
then after that game, I just called Stevie Y. I was like, honestly, like tomorrow practice, I'm going to punch John Cooper in the face. He's like, oh no, Bugsy, you get suspended if you can't fight in practice or something. I was like, I was just trying to act a little crazy, so hopefully you'd trade me. But yeah, I never saw eye to eye. And that was, looking back, I think that was just that ego and pride of an older guy, and the new guys coming in trying to change the culture, which like I give him mad respect. I've shook his hand, in a few years ago, and I have nothing but respect for him. But at the time, yeah, looking back, it was like, I just didn't feel that respect, as an old guy, because before you had to earn ice time. When I came into the league, you had to like wait for the veterans to get off the bus before you got off the bus. You don't eat until the veterans eat, right? I mean, that's just to me, till this day, I still think there should be that respect. But I know coaches now are, have to cater to the younger generation because a little more than they used to, just because I guess they don't want to hurt feelings or whatnot. But yeah, looking back, Coop and I didn't see eye to eye there when my time was there. So yeah, I threatened to punch him in the face.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, but
you might have won that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you might.
I was just like, this guy's never even played hockey before. God bless him, but I'm like, he's never been in a fight. He's like, why are you fighting? I'm like, why am I fighting? He just like he didn't
understand that. Wow.
Yeah. So that's where I was just kind of different perspectives at that point.
Yeah, and you mentioned like you're an older guy, and he was an up and coming coach, and you come from that Norfolk team, which I think they rattled off like 27 wins in a row and won the Calder Cup the year before, and I think like 20 of the 23-man roster ended up playing for the team.
Yeah,
he's probably in a unique situation, and maybe just not good at dealing with veteran players, right? I mean, it's kind of like something you have to learn how to manage, right? Especially guys that are established NHLers.
Yeah, I think you got to figure out a little bit, but I mean, you knew they had a great team, like you just mentioned in the American League there. I know that Alex Kilhorn, I was joking around, he came and took my spot, and Ovid, wicked smart. So, but it was just part of the business, you get older, and the body hurts, then it's like, I'm not fighting for this guy and this. I took the ego and the pride to myself instead of looking at it more as a team standpoint, where I still could have been a little more positive maybe in that area looking back, But
that happens though.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough thing though.
It is tough. I've seen this, with guys I played with and coached. Again, it's a pride thing, right? The ego is like you're in these situations where these teams are trying to play the younger guys, right? They're trying to justify their picks and start grooming these guys. There's obviously the politics involved in it, and it's hard to see it at the time, right? It's no one wants to get squeezed out, and no one wants to be sitting and not playing as much as they think they deserve to. So it is challenging. It's hard to maintain that positive mental attitude when you're not fully understanding the whole picture of where he's coming from.
Yeah, and talking about that respect factor for veterans and stuff like that. What do you think of the game now? Like these days, obviously the way it's played, it's a bit different now. But what are your how do you look at the game these days?
I mean, it's obviously the skill is just through the roof, and that's where I think sometimes everyone gets so caught up in the analytics. It's like, well, you still got to be able to think the game. And that's where I think that a lot of the coaches think they can teach some of that. And I know that's harder said than done to some guys. But I think the game's in a good spot. You just got to be careful when guys are flying around that fast, right? You have these star players that everyone wants to watch doing these amazing things. They need to be protected. I know that's harder and harder for guys to just, you got just some guys that can easily make a name for themselves if they're taking runs at these stars players without any repercussions, and that's where I think it's a slippery slope of the players will obviously, I think, always fight for fighting just to have so they can police themselves. So they know a fine isn't going to do much to a guy that's trying to make it on the team. I think that is the big thing.
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit because you can, like you said, if you have, I know it's not the same game as it used to be. Like, obviously it's not. The game's doing very well, but if you're going to have like rats running around doing stupid shit and they never have to, you got a $500 fine last night. Like, if you're on the bench, somewhat, whatever, you're probably a little less likely to be doing that. Right? Like if you may have to answer to something, but that's why I was asking you. Just sometimes you watch the games and some teams, I know, like correct me if I'm wrong. Sid really likes having a tough, a tougher guy on his team. He's told me that before. I feel like you just have to have something just in case, right? Like, I don't know.
I wouldn't say a little bit deterrent. I'm pretty sure that is a big deterrent when you're someone's going to come just and start punching you in the face. I mean, that's the beauty of our game is still that manly aspect of, okay, you show disrespect, I'll teach you some respect. That's the way it should go. And I think that's what makes hockey special. I think that's still an avenue that should be embraced. Look how unique we are compared to these other sports. And that's why I think the brotherhood's so even more tight with the hockey guys. We start, meet the baseball guys, the pitchers are traveling to this hotel, the other, so they're kind of spread out.
That's true.
Football, you got 50 some guys. Basketball is, a little tighter, but in hockey, when a teammate's willing to throw down for you and even take a licking because he knows he's all get beat up, that's like, that's laying it on the line for each other. That's why I think hockey is that. I'm trying to say the Navy SEALs of all sports. You got a little bit of everything in hockey, and then you got the bare knuckle fighting that you can't find anywhere. I don't even think it's legal to even do that anymore anywhere else.
Right.
So
true.
That could be almost embraced a little more if everybody wanted that route. I understand it's not going to be the old just stand there and fight hockey, but you see some of these young guys that are taking fighting classes and then grab some poor guy that doesn't know what he's doing. That's dangerous to me. If everyone could learn some basic principles just to protect themselves. But I think everyone's the fights. Everyone gets that. the fans I know stand up for every time and get everyone going. So hopefully that's not going anywhere soon.
Yeah. We talk about this quite a bit, and we talk about the power of accountability. It is a real thing, right? Like you said, like, not just a small thing. It's a pretty big thing knowing, I mean, George the Rock's on the bench. And I know we're not going to go back to, the super heavyweights probably. I know Ryan Reeves is, arguably the toughest guy in the NHL, but like, he can skate pretty damn good in a straight line, and he's effective out there. But having that guy on the other side is just like, it keeps everybody honest, right? It just, when stuff gets a little bit out of hand, you kind of know that you're not going to be able to get away with it. And I think the culture has become so soft, not just hockey culture, but just in general, right? It's just always easy to just look at this from the lens of like safety of our players, right? Yeah, well, everybody knows getting punched in the head's probably not great for our brain, but signing up for it and like owning it is certainly different than getting cheap shotted, where a guy's getting his head knocked off because of a lack of respect, right? So it's more of a respectful combat, and yes, we playing a contact sport and it's physical. There's always an element of potentially getting injured, but to me, it's just like it's gotten so loose now where I believe the injury level is is much higher than it was. Amount of concussions, obviously the diagnosis is much higher, but that element of accountability is a powerful thing. And like you said, I can't see it ever fully disappearing, but I just feel like it's gone a little bit too far the other way, where I love the skill, love the speed, but I mean, I just see a lot of disrespect in the game, which is I don't know, from my perspective, maybe it's probably biased because I was a total meathead, but I just like to see some bit more of a hybrid model as we move forward. But
Bugsy, this guy is a skilled machine in our men's league.
Yeah.
Four G's in the championship game back to back, not a big deal, as Biz would say. Just skilling it up.
Well, I don't got to worry about fighting mutants and get my face punched in.
He's also a $180 now. So
$185.
He's a $185. He gets mad if I don't give him that.
Same way you do.
I'm not supposed to weigh that much though.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'm saying even when those guys are on your team, that like guys in Minnesota, they're all 2 inches taller now, right? Those guys are finishing checks or maybe getting a little more involved because they know they got someone that's got their back. It goes around for the team. When I was there, thank gosh George was there, because I would he had the big heavy guys. I kind of try to stay out of that area and take the middle of it. And I definitely appreciated him on the bench.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to see it, and that's where, I mean, the NHL did the studies that, I mean, the concussions are coming from the hits. I mean, those are like car accidents. They're going 20 miles per hour. Yeah, it's the hit. Yeah, it's actually hurting guys more than the fighting. So I wonder if you went back to those old school, smaller shoulder pads, right? And guys go flying down. Would they go flying into guys as much when they're less protected? It hurts them as well.
Right.
I think never know what might happen. But yeah, I mean, when you go to a game and it's a live game and you don't hear the glass rattling, or I remember before Billy G took over in Minnesota, there it was kind of that. You're like, man, we're in Minnesota. There's no one's finishing checks. It's like if just one person's finishing, he would stand out to me. He's like,
right.
Bring that energy. Brings energy to the fans too. Even if you miss the guy, glass rattles, like everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you're still going 20 miles per hour into the glass.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going like 15 miles per hour, but
yeah.
It brings all that energy, as you're saying. That's what makes hockey, those live games, so impressive. When people don't realize how fast guys are going on the ice and the puck's moving so fast. And then you throw in the checking, and it's really exciting, I think, for people, especially for just future generations with everyone's shorter attention span. They want to see action. They want to keep things moving. I think the game is going in a good direction, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. Bugsy, I'm just gonna jump back real quick. When I first really met you was in 2006, Riga, Latvia. for the World Championships. I got I'm working with a junior team real quick, the North American Hockey League here, Philadelphia Rebels, and it's awesome. It's so much fun. Locker room's exactly the same. The kids are just 17 to 19 and 20, but it's the same. It's awesome. It's funny I tell Roz all the time, like the shit they're saying is the shit they were saying, when I was still with the Flyers. And it makes me laugh because they're younger. I'm like, everyone's screwed up really young, as far as the hockey, in a good way. I mean that in a good way, obviously. But they were asking me about like where have I been? Where was I lucky enough to travel to? And I said, the one year went to Slovenia and then on to Riga for a couple weeks. But I had to ask you real quick. In Slovenia, I had the smallest room I've ever been in my life, and the bed was even small. And I'm a midget, I'm like 5'7", maybe. I say I'm 5'8" and a half, but I'm not. But anyway, how did you sleep on that bed in Slovenia? Do you even remember? Like, do you even remember going there?
I just remember anywhere in Europe, all those beds are just those small, size cots, and I usually had a few pops to make sure I slept pretty good. I think so.
Yeah, it stuck out in my head when I was talking to the kids. I was like, none of you guys would have fit in the bed. Like, it was fine for me because I'm so small. But I did want to bring up 2010, the Olympics. I've said before, it's probably the best 2 weeks of my life. Like, as far with hockey, that was one of the greatest times I think ever that I had in hockey, and we were just so close. And you were there, so just gonna get your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, that was not even a dream come true. I never even dreamt I would ever be able to pull a USA sweater on, and it just, means the world. I think to represent your country, and I think knowing Herbie and what an impact he kind of had on me and my growing up, and just kind of training to help transition me into the pros. Of he always come there in St. Cloud and, okay, I'm already working out, Saturday is this. He's like, well, what else can you do? He'd always push you to that next level. And I think, I really thought we were going to do it. I really thought we were going to make that Canada just cry on their home turf. That was the goal, obviously. And, to me, that was the best, just time for my family to be there. We all had a blast, and it was, Canada's Canada. I just remember my parents walking on the street and everyone just heckling and just giving it all the time. My dad played in the NHL, and then his brother actually got drafted first round, Jim Malone, to the Rangers, and he was more just a straight tough guy. And he was like getting close to start just grabbing guys and start just sidewalks. But everyone had a great time. And I think, that team looking back, it's amazing to see you got Pav still playing, and Eddie Kane doing his thing. And I just remember seeing Kaner up close in practice, man. Like, he looked like just like a video game, just as with his stick handling and taking that wrist shot. It was really cool to kind of see him be able to play with those guys and, learn from it. But ultimately, just be in that environment. And, we beat Canada in the round robin, which actually I thought we played kind of worse. And in that game, I actually thought we played better and just didn't get some of those bounces. But of course, it had to be, Sid and
of course.
We're like, all right, so it I didn't feel too bad letting him score the game winner, I guess. But it was an amazing opportunity, and very privileged and honored to pull on that red, white, and blue.
I've said before, like in that final game, like you said, we went through the tournament undefeated, and even when we were down, I remember you guys just saying on the bench, like, we're going to score, boys. Keep going. I mean, what else are you going to say? Oh, it's over. We're not going to win. Know, right? But, like, it was just so positive. We were just getting chances, and then we scored that goal. I literally blacked out. I got so excited. Like, I actually lost a couple seconds there. I may have done that also during the week in Vancouver a couple nights where I don't remember a whole lot. But, no, that was one of the most exciting things I'd ever been a part of. And since you were there, I had to bring it up.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I think it's crazy to think that's the closest we've been since 1980. It's kind of sad, actually, but hopefully USA can do it here in the near future. They got a bunch of great young players, so it'll be exciting to see.
Yeah, they do. And it's funny too. You remember our locker room they built for us there in the inside of the arena? We had our own like USA. I mean, we had like pictures, painting, of the lockers were blue. It was like totally for us. I went back with the Flyers about 2 weeks later to play, and Red, one of the guys that works with Vancouver, he goes, "Hey, come down. I want to show you your locker room." And I was like, "Oh, cool, man." You know, he opens it up. It was back to a closet. That was a closet there, and everything was down. I'm like, "Oh, how could you take all that down?" He goes, "What are we gonna do with it?" It's like, it's USA, man. He's like, you know, the team, they took everything out, but it was crazy. That was an actual big storage area because we had showers and everything they built in there in the back of that room. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think you always did a good job of, tidying it up, making it look professional for us. I just remember we just let Millsy put on whatever music he wanted. He's a starting goalie. What do you want to listen to? All right, whatever you got. That's fine.
Yeah. Speaking of him, he just had his jersey retired in Buffalo a couple days ago. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. He was a big reason we were in those games, and it was great to see him get acknowledged there in Buffalo and just everything he's done for the U.S. In his career.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Bugsy, before we let you go, just towards the end of your career, your last NHL season was it with the Rangers? You're up and down with the Wolfpack there, and then there was a two-year gap there, and I believe you got a PTO with Minnesota. What was the whole thinking behind that, making a comeback? And
yeah, it was just that was the year of the Olympics. I was talking to JJ, and that's they weren't going to take any NHL guys. And I'm like, shit. Right. Yeah, he's like, I'm like, shit, JJ, I'm feeling pretty good these days. Like, maybe I come back. Maybe I'll go to just Iowa because I was in Minnesota at the time and just, play some games. You can see me play. Actually, I called Chuck Fletcher because for my time in Pittsburgh, he was assistant GM with Ray Shiro there. He was the GM of the Wild at the time. I was just like, hey, you mind if I go to Iowa for training camp and maybe whatever happens, And he's like, oh, why don't you come to the big camp? I'm like, it was like literally like 5 weeks away. I was like, no, I'm not really ready.
No.
He's like, oh no, come on in. And I just remember they had like this skating test. And I remember the trainer going, oh, don't worry. Like, you don't have to pass it, you don't have enough time. I was like, oh, so like in my head, I'm like, all right, that motivated me the next few weeks to really get after it. I ended up passing the skating test. I got a few seconds, I think jumped the gun a little bit, a few seconds. And I made the last bag, but I came back and honestly, I think I had my best training camp of all my training camps, probably because I was like sober and like so focused on just the goal at hand. My body felt great. I was doing that ARP machine and, trying to take care of myself and, ended up not making a while. But initially when I was there, I'm like, shit, I think I can make the team. It felt good. And they kind of needed a kind of like a fourth line PK guy. And then Bruce brought in his boy, Winnick, I think.
Yeah.
So I went down to Iowa, played a few games, just kind of get on the ice. And then I went over to Germany for a USA camp. And they ended up picking, obviously, guys out of college. I think was a good choice. He's with the Wild now, Greenway and and Caulfield. I think those younger guys that were coming up, they ended up picking for the Olympics instead. So, which is obviously, I think, a better play. But yeah, I was like, my boys, and as we're saying, I'm retired, like searching, for my purpose, and my boys are around me at the time. At least they got to see me really train and get after it. And but I was like, boys, listen, at least I know now, especially talking about it now, I was like, I gave it all I had. I wasn't just going to let the opportunity go by. I had to try. Sometimes you may not reach it, but I know I feel good about it because that's all I got, So that's all you can do. So I thought that was just good for them to kind of see me really, try to pursue that goal and get after it. So that was a lot of fun, just even on the buses in Iowa. It was great. It was a good group of guys. Ryan O'Reilly was down there, veteran. It was great. Is it Ryan O'Reilly? Yeah, his brother, right?
Yeah, it's his brother. He actually plays in Scranton.
Oh, that's right.
I think he's a captain there with the Phantoms.
Yeah, he was awesome. So We had a lot of fun. And then, man, I remember being in Iowa, I'm getting into like 2 fights my first game. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to really fight. But it felt really good. I'm not gonna lie. It was like a lot of frustrating few years before that. So it did feel good getting a few licks in. But it was just great being back with the guys, as we said, on the bus in 18 there. And a lot of fun. And I mean, the Iowa group there, the Minnesota, the owner really treats them well, and he definitely wants that development. And you can see it coming through their program now with like Billy G bringing that kind of East Coast grit a little bit. I know they got Matt Hendricks, and too. There was a guy that was, gritty St. Cloud guy, some sandpaper. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's going to take to win. You see Sid and Gino willing to fight. Maybe if they really have to, like how bad do you want it? You're not going to be able to do probably a Michigan in overtime or in the Stanley Cup final or something. It's going to come down to those dirty plays when everyone's giving it their all. So I think hopefully Minnesota can, get one for that state. They're definitely a hockey hotbed up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the truth. Well, props to you for making the honest effort, right?
Yeah.
I think most guys would have just played it safe and said, I can't do this, or what's the point? But
he tried to come back last year. Bugsy, he was going to play in the Federal League. They asked him, but like he was playing. They even guaranteed him power play and everything. I said, "You got to go. You got to get one Tilly." He goes, "No, I don't."
Yeah, hey, dude, he came back to try and play in the
I
Olympics.
know.
I mean, I signed a one gamer for the.
He
Federal
signed a
League,
one
dude.
gamer,
A little different animal.
Yeah,
but,
little different.
I still can't give it. I played last year in that 3-ice league. Even played a few games, and that was fun. And even for my girls now to see me play, and my boys travel on the road there to Hershey and play in kind of some historic hockey towns, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the game, it's just in your heart, it's your happy place, and if you're feeling healthy enough to get out there and give it a shot, why not? So.
Are they doing that next year? Are they doing that?
Yeah. They have one more year. I think they had a 2-year deal with all the TV contracts and stuff. So I don't think I'm going to do it, but I might have a few. There might be a surprise guy that you guys might know joining. Sounds like so.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Can't wait to see that.
I gotta look into that. Oh man.
Yeah,
right on.
Yeah.
Well, brother, we appreciate your time, man. I miss you, man. I feel like I haven't seen you forever, but like I said before, I meant it. One of my favorite guys I ever met in hockey, dude. Just always smiling, just happy dude. Made me laugh. We won't talk about any of the stuff we probably talked about, but I do miss you, man. I'm glad you're doing really well, and it's awesome what you are doing there with the alumni and the Warriors.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think I miss you too, buddy. And I think ultimately is right. I always kind of said you love the game will love you back. And looking back, you just realize just how lucky we all are to just play a game and get some money doing it. And then hopefully what we can do off the ice is really our true impact in our communities, which I think is pretty special. And I think we got a lot of positive stuff coming for all the boys. So I'm excited just to be a small part of it.
Yeah. It's
well said. Appreciate you, Bugsy. Thanks for coming on. Look forward to reconnecting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll talk some more here down the road.
Absolutely.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Thanks
Take
again,
care.
man.
All right. Love you guys.
See you. Love you too, brother.
Man. Later.
All right.
A big thank you to our boy, Bugsy, Ryan Malone. What an awesome dude.
Great guy. So funny, man.
Yeah, you've known him for quite some time, man.
Yeah. We met years ago, World Championships first time, and then like we talked about, the Olympics. So great man. Man. Funny guy. Just the nicest dude you can meet.
Positive dude. Nice to see him turning his life around and again, trying to be a beacon of hope, working with the Warriors and all that good stuff. So appreciate him for hopping on.
100%. You know what time it is now.
Oh, I know what time it is.
It's time for the Clear Questions, brought to you by Clear Rum. And Baller, what do you got?
Oh, yeah.
Braden Russo wants to know what you guys think of Arizona's new alternate jerseys.
I don't mind them.
Yeah.
I think they look pretty cool. I would almost, maybe it's too much like their other jerseys. I don't know about the yellowish color. I don't think I'd rather have it white.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't mind them. I definitely didn't dislike them.
Right.
Yeah, no, but I agree with that. Maybe a little white there, but I think they're pretty good looking.
They still look cool.
Yeah,
they still look
for
really
sure.
cool. That's my opinion.
Yep.
David Amity on Twitter wants to know from Riley, if you were playing in today's NHL, is there anyone you would think about fighting, or can anybody get it?
What I think about fighting? Absolutely. There's definitely a few guys that are still floating around that are gamer. That would be, I say, in the same weight class as the guys that I was fighting. Ryan Reeves and McDermott. Like I say, you could throw Tom Wilson in there, even though he's formerly a first round pick. He's a pretty good hockey player. But there's certainly a few guys, definitely that are legit tough, but not many. And a guy like Nick Delorier and McEwen certainly probably would run into these guys as well. I mean, there's no question. I mean, so, but there's just not many of them. So going back to when I played, even way before I played, guys. Teams had 3-4 guys, that you'd have to go through. Obviously now teams barely have one. If they do have one, that's pretty much it. The game's changed a ton. You're never going to see, a true, one-dimensional enforcer ever again, in my opinion. But nonetheless, if I was playing, I'd be playing at $185. So
yeah, you would be.
I'd be way underweight and way undersized, but
light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight, yeah. If that, it'd be probably more like a welterweight. But certainly, I'd be going after these guys. Probably get my face pounded in even more. But definitely would be on the aggressive.
Yeah, you definitely would.
Yeah. So
be on the aggressive, not get your face pounded.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Last one we got is from the fake Steve Coates.
Fake Steve Coates.
We know 2 Steve Coates that are real and not fake.
Yeah. Well, he claims he's the real. He's the OG.
Okay, I call him the fake one.
Yeah, I know.
He wants to know from Riley, who would win in an on-ice fight? You, with your dominant hand behind your back, or Sidney Crosby full strength but with smelling salts?
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Well, I'd like to say myself, but I mean, Crosby is pretty strong on his skates.
Cool.
Pretty got the wide base and the bow-legged stance, and he's hard to knock over to begin with. Most people obviously don't think of him as much of a fighter because he's scoring 100 points a year.
Why would he?
But without the left hand, I don't know, man. He might.
So you basically fighting one-handed is the question. I mean, I might have a chance. Just to at least get a couple in, I'd probably get knocked out. We all know the record. We don't need to bring the record up, but
I think he's taking a shot at Sid and his
toughness
or lack thereof.
Yeah. You got to give this guy credit. Obviously he's not fighting, but this guy's a competitor. He goes to the greasy areas. He does get his nose dirty. Obviously,
he's the last guy you want.
Yeah.
Fighting,
why? So when people talk about toughness, they always want to go right to the fighting, but. There's plenty of guys we've known, played against that are like tough players. They're not great fighters,
right?
But they get into the hard areas. They're tough to play against. They're competitors. They compete hard every night, and Crosby's definitely one of them. 100%. Talk about an athlete.
Yes.
Strong on his skates, just strong in general, core. Those are all fundamental elements of fighting. Foundational elements. So. Without my left hand, I'm not sure I'd be doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
Crosby might beat my ass.
You just got to try to jab.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you can't grab him if you only have one arm.
Just keep him away. Yeah. But it might be a little bit unorthodox. But I got to give Crosby all the credit in the world for the hell of a player that he is, but how strong he is. Like guys, most fans don't give him the credit he deserves. Strong, real strong.
Real strong.
So in a fight, maybe just land a lucky jab or two. Who knows? But he'd probably wipe his ass with me without my left hand.
That's your left hand. Good
that's
question.
A wrap. Yes.
Fake Steve
Coates. That's a wrap, Nast.
Yep.
Episode 102. Episode 103 coming up later this week. Dropping 2 this week because of our fumble last week. We apologize once again. Episode 103 will coming up Friday with Dave Poulin.
Yes.
So be sure to check us out then. And if you haven't already, we appreciate all the new subscribers, all the support.
Yes.
subscribe. Continue to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and until Friday, stay safe, knuckleheads.
See ya.